Hello. I hope that there are some ladies out there. As you know, you can hopefully see me, but I can't see you. So I just have to imagine. And I hope one of the moms out there that has been able to see me, but I can't see you, is Yunanza, because you have been here to tell me that you would be there, Yunanza. Yunanza, are you there? Because if you are, you can say hello to me, and then I know that you're there and I'm talking to you. And whoever else is there, thank you for joining me. And I'm going to start with pouring myself a cup of coffee today, actually, because it's so cold here that I decided to have coffee today instead of tea. Normally always have tea, but today it's coffee. Isn't this cute? This little pot. Look at that. The coffee's in the top. Take it off, pour it in the cup, put the little pot aside, and here's my coffee. So I hope you've got yourselves a nice hot beverage and we can spend some time together. I know it's called tea time with Sonja, but today it's coffee time with Sonja. Okay. And while I've been waiting for this week's live stream, Friday, I have been getting some questions coming through. So I will be attending to those questions. And if any others come up now while you join me on live stream, if you have questions, you can just put them there and I will attend to them. I will look at them just now. But for now, what I'm going to start with is just going through the questions that I've received thus far. Okay. Well, actually, before I dive into the questions, I would just like to say I hope you've had a wonderful week, because it's Friday and now this is the end of our week, heading into a weekend. I hope you're going to make some time this weekend to play some games with the family, because you know that's very near and dear to my heart to have time to play games. And so I always have to remind you of that. And also, this other thing I was going to tell you was that we were going to try and do live streaming on a Wednesday and a Friday, but that hasn't happened because I don't even remember now, but something happened on Wednesday that stopped us from being able to live stream. And so we were determined to do it this Friday. And next Friday, we won't be doing it because we'll be on the road. So it'll just won't happen next Friday. So those of you who are there and expecting next Friday's live streaming to be at 4 o'clock, we won't be doing live streaming next Friday afternoon. That much I already know. And we sometimes do it at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever time we are able to find the right gap. And today it happened to be 4 o'clock. So I hope that I can have some nice time with you now. And I hope you've got your hot beverage. And I'm hoping that, Yunanza, that you are there. Yunanza has home educated for very many years. In fact, she home educated her 2 sons until they're adults. And now they are men, all grown up, out of the home. So anybody who's joining us today that would like to ask some questions to others that have already walked the journey, then you can, because some moms that are joining me today have actually taken their children through the whole learning lifestyle, Oikos journey all the way into adult life. And I don't know if Shirley's there today, but last week Shirley was there and she was chatting to us about her 2 adult daughters, and it was such a blessing. So I'm hoping she's joining us again today. And she's in England, but a South African, and home educated her girls as well, her daughters, all the way through to their adult life. So I'm letting you know about these other moms that are joining us in case you have questions that you would like to ask them. I haven't actually asked them if they mind if I let you know to ask them questions, but I'm sure they don't mind, because there are women that absolutely believe in this vision and have walked it already, and I know they are there today. Well, if they are there today, if they were there today, it would be for the purpose of being able to be supportive and helpful. So ladies, I hope you don't mind me putting that out there. If you do, you can tell me. Okay, so let's start with these questions. Oh, wait. Before I start the questions, I've got the link to go to link me to this live stream here on this computer. And there it is. So I'll be able to see who's joining us. And there, I've only just seen now, Yunanza, that you're saying, yes, hello, I'm here. Hello, Yunanza. It's so wonderful to see you. Oh, I can't actually see you, but you know what I mean. It's so wonderful that you're there. And as I said, just let me know if it's a problem that I'm offering your support and help to other people. Okay. In fact, you might even be able to contribute to some of these questions I've got here. So here we go. Okay, the first question goes like this. I'm going to read it out. I want to start homeschooling my children, but everyone I talk to is telling me that I'm depriving my children of a proper education. I only want the best for my kids, so should I rather send them to a proper school? That's the question. Well, I know you've got something to say about that, Junanza, but first of all, I would like to just answer this mom by saying, let's start at the beginning. You want to start homeschooling your children. Well, good. I'm glad that your heart is there and that's what you want, and you are imagining that you would like to do that because you believe in your heart that that would be a good thing to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be thinking about it, because I don't know parents that think about what's not good for their children and then they want to do that not good thing. So the fact that to start with, you want to start the first part of your question is that you want to start homeschooling. I think that's fantastic. And then it goes on to say, but everyone that I talk to is telling me that I'm going to be depriving my children of a proper education. So I would like to suggest that maybe you don't listen to what everybody is telling you, because you already know in your heart that you want to home educate your children. You're going to go upstream instead of flowing with the current. And so you're going to get opposition, because that is just standard. I mean, it might change in years to come, but for all the years of this particular calling of teaching our children at home and this learning lifestyle and educating at home, it's not considered, over all these years, it hasn't been considered the norm. So because it's not considered the norm, it's something different. And so with different comes opposition. That's sort of how it goes. But if you are convicted and you believe and feel this is what you know is right for your children, and you and your husband, or even if you're a single parent, you just feel really compelled, convicted, and this is something that you believe is right for your children, well, then you, the parent, have to be answerable to God in that. Your friends, family, neighbors, associates, whatever, are going to maybe have their own view on it. And their view might be what they're comfortable with, what they know to be normal. And so they may be genuinely concerned about you and going, oh, but what about your children? They might not get a proper education if what did it say, children? It's a proper education by doing so. Well, this is what I can say about that. It's not the same kind of education as what you know. Maybe you came through school whereby you sat in a classroom with 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 other children, all the same sort of age as you, similar age, and that's what people think is proper school, or that's what their reference is. But now you want to home educate, and so now it's parent at home with their children, which is another picture. Another way to look at that is private tuition. An adult teaching a couple of children, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, a small group of children is being taught by an adult. And as far as the actual education is concerned, you can imagine how rich that is, because now there's this one-on-one tuition. There's attention to the individuals rather than a lot of individuals that you can't give as much attention to 30 children in an hour than you can with 3 children in an hour. That stands to reason. So the education you're giving your children is going to be very, very different to what is people think is proper education. It's going to be different. It's going to look different on just about every level. But the exciting part is that different is excellence, actually. It's an excellent education because it's one-on-one tuition. But now parents might say, oh, but I don't quite feel equipped, because how am I going to really know what to teach? The teachers in the school have been trained and they're qualified. And you as a mom are thinking, maybe I'm not qualified. Well, in fact, you might be saying, I know I'm not qualified because I never qualified as a teacher. I didn't go to teachers' college. But the Word of God says in Colossians 3 that you are qualified because God has entrusted those children to your care, the parents, for you to raise them in the way they should go. And so now I'm excited by this question that this mom is feeling that she wants to home educate. Wonderful. Got a little runny nose, it seems. So I think it's wonderful that you even want to home educate. In fact, I get very excited when people want to home educate. The more the better, because to me that is a wonderful growth of something that needs to be happening, because I've seen the results of those that have home educated. I've seen the results in our own family, of myself as an individual, of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of individuals that are home educated and how good it is for them. So I just hope that this answer that I'm giving, or this response, should I say, to this question is going to help this mom to not listen to all the people that are telling her, worrying about her children not getting a proper education. It is interesting that that other people start being concerned about somebody's the quality of other people's education as soon as that person wants to do something a little bit different. All of a sudden, there's a lot of interest in that. And so I also think that that is exciting, because you can ask those people to pray for you, because you're taking some big steps out of the normal flow of things, and you're going to have to be going upstream, so you're going to need more strength. And so you can ask those people to be behind you and support you and help you, because you're following this conviction, because you believe that this is what you need to do for your children. You see what the next part of the question says? It says, I only want the best for my children, so should I rather send them to a proper school? Well, I hope my response for the first part of that has answered the question of should I send them to proper school, because that would now be dependent on what you think proper school is. In fact, let me just take this a little dip. Let's take a dip, deeper, and think about what is proper school, and think about what is school. School is a building. If you want, you can go and look up the definition of school. And that is why we like to say home education, and we like to say a learning lifestyle, because we didn't try and bring school into our home. That's not what we ever did. We always thought of our home and our family being an environment for learning and a learning lifestyle. That's why we like to call it a learning lifestyle. That's why we try to put the feature video on the homepage is called a learning lifestyle, because it's hopefully encouraging parents in a different approach to learning and education, and not being school at home. So I hope that has answered question number 1. I'm wondering if those who have joined me have anything to add. All right. Not in case, you know that after we finish this live stream, when it's on our Oikos homepage, people don't actually see the conversation that's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Yunanza's response here, her comment. Over the years, I've seen home education finds you and you don't find home education. Meaning there's a reason why God is leading you to this path, but we have to find our own truths and whys for choosing this lifestyle. That is, you see, I knew you were going to have something to offer and give there, Yunanza. I didn't even think of it that way. But that is so, so true. That it finds you. Yunanza knows that well, because home education found her. I remember that all those years back. And then, okay, let me ask Yunanza a question. Yunanza, are you pleased that you home educated your boys? There we are, the question for Yunanza. She's going to answer it soon, I'm sure. And while we're waiting for her answer, I'll move on to the next question. It's a completely different kind of question now. The question is, why do you not deliver to farms or plots? We live on a farm, which is far from town, and it's not always convenient to drive into town to get our resources. Well, it actually says to get our books. So why do you not deliver to farms or plots? Well, I could spend some time on this question and going back in history, and that we used to, and then we couldn't, and then we did deliver when postal services were working more efficiently and effectively than we did. But in fact, that became a problem because people who lived on farms had post boxes in town, so they had to go to town to get the parcel anyway, and they would go into town to do their provisions or their post office or groceries or whatever they needed for the farm and for the household, and they would pick up their books from the post office. But then we had lots of parcels going missing, which was really quite tragic, and we knew that wasn't the best we could be doing for the people, is sending their parcels out to somewhere where they might never receive them. And that happened over a course of 1 or 2 years. There was just more and more and more of that happening, so we stopped that. And then we tried a different postal service. I won't go into the details, but that was even worse than the previous attempt. So eventually we decided to go with Courier, because Courier was starting to grow and develop in this country, South Africa. And we decided to go with Courier. And when we went with Courier, we found that a lot of the courier companies that we had meetings with didn't actually deliver to what they called outlying or outskirts or beyond suburbia. And we'd say to them, well, what is beyond suburbia? What if it's just 5 kilometers outside town? What do you call outskirts and outlying? And so we've taken some time getting to know how their systems work. And eventually it's proven to be better service and better for people when we can actually deliver to a town address, because generally people who are living on a farm, even if they only go into town once a month, they plan it and they know they're going into town to attend to all their appointments or the list of errands they need to do. And amongst that list of errands is to pick up their order of books or whatever they've ordered from various different online ordering systems. So it's becoming more and more a part of people's lifestyle to be able to do that, just to fit it in with the rest of their online ordering that they do. In some instances, it isn't just as straightforward as that, or it hasn't just fitted into people's planning in that way. And so they do have a difficulty in the fact that they try to place the order on Oikos online store, and then they get this message that doesn't allow them to input their farm details. And I'll tell you why we did that specifically, is because if you did put your farm address in there and the courier did deliver right to your door, then what they would do is they would add a surcharge to that. And oh my goodness, there were some people in the Northern Cape that were being hit with the most horrendous surcharge, and then it was who's going to pay for that, them or us, because we offer free courier service over a certain value. And so it, as you can imagine, it was becoming just too costly for either side. If the person wants it delivered to the farm, it's going to be a huge extra cost, and they're going into town anyway to do their other errands. So at the end of the day, we eventually made the call that the farm deliveries were too risky on so many levels. The one time we had this farm delivery to do, and the courier company got hold of us afterwards and said, we must please know that they're not delivering to that farm again, because they had to go through so many gates, and they were, I can't remember what this farm was. I don't know. I think it was goats, but maybe not. Maybe sheep. I'm now just trying to recall. But anyway, this poor courier guy was surrounded by whatever cattle. Oh, no, it wasn't cattle. Whatever farm animals this particular family were farming. And it was a very bad experience that this poor guy had. And he says, not delivering to there again, to that particular farm. And so those are sort of things that were happening. What is just normal and everyday to farmers and what they're used to isn't to people that are used to just delivering in town and, to street addresses and suburban sort of delivery addresses. So I was about to say, I'm so sorry we can't deliver to farms, but I realize I shouldn't say I'm sorry. I should rather say the reason we're not delivering to farms isn't to hopefully help you and provide an even better service to you because of all these logistics and all these things that happened with farm deliveries. So I hope that's okay, that it will be all right if you can go into town and fetch your Oikos order. For now, I know we're not changing it. If I can tell you that, we're not going to make it suddenly available or suddenly an option that we will deliver to farms, because we can't. We can physically. It is doable and possible, but it's going to be just very, very expensive. That could change because we know that courier companies things are changing all the time, and it might just be that they have more depots or more people to deliver on the outlying areas, and so it's not such a problem because they've got dedicated drivers for that. I don't know. Let's hope. But for now, it is what it is, and it's, in fact, South Africans, if you're a South African and watching this, it's a lot better for you than those that are in African countries. I'm thinking of Namibia, for example. When you want to go from one town to another town in Namibia, you drive many hours through the desert. And so consequently, they have hubs where deliveries are made to specific areas because the courier services their logistics aren't yet in place enough to be able to cope with those very long distances. And then there's other courier companies that can do that. So we are constantly working on it, looking at it, keeping an eye on how we can improve it and make it better for you. And if anybody's got any ideas or suggestions, or they know a courier company that delivers to their farm. I'm just thinking about this now because we had one mom say, but we have courier deliveries to our farm all the time. You know, why is it a problem? We said, please tell us the name of your courier company. And we got hold of that courier company, and their rates were quite considerably higher than what the courier company we're using offers. So consequently, we had to make a choice. Like, no, well, actually, that's now going to be more expensive for everybody because all the courier rates were higher, not just the farm deliveries. So that was question number 2. I'm going to go and just check before I was on to any more questions. Yunanza had another comment here. Thank you, Yunanza. You said you've never looked back. Just said that it did not start from the beginning. 11 years of amazing years together with our boys. Oh, was it 11 years? I remember them just being little chaps. I think I had in my mind that you had started from the very young age with them. I see what you mean, not from the beginning, as in from birth. All right, I imagine that's what you were meaning. Okay, back to, well, but thank you, Yunanza. I'm glad you never look back. Neither have we. That's why we encourage others to get the blessing of this. All right, now, interestingly, another question came in, and it was in Afrikaans. So I'm not going to read it in Afrikaans. But what I did do is I put it into Google Translate. This technology is incredible. And this is what it gave me, because unfortunately I can't read or interpret Afrikaans. So I put it into Google Translate, and Google Translate helped me. And this is what it says. Is there any way I could talk to other Oikos families before deciding to use the Oikos box? Aha. Right, I can give you the answer on that as far as the standard answer, but Yunanza's there at the moment. And I know her heart, and I know she'd be very happy to talk to anybody that would like to talk to her about having used Oikos resources, because I believe those are the only resources she used. She started with Oikos. Maybe she didn't start with Oikos, but anyway, I'm sure Yunanza won't mind if you talk to her. She is there now, so you could put that message out to her. Let me think now. I can't give you Yunanza's details because I'll tell you why. The other part of the answer to that question is no, we can't give you Oikos families details because we keep all Oikos families details in the strictest confidence. We never ever give them out to anybody, even people that approach us to say they're doing a survey and please can we give them, tell them how many Oikos families they're on our database, and we just tell them no. We have assured Oikos families that we will keep their details in the strictest confidence, and so we do. So by me giving out people's details to somebody else, it doesn't actually keep that in place. So what I do is this. I suggest to people that ask this question, I say, get onto your social network, because of technology now, people are socially connected through various networks, and ask there, is there anybody out there that's using Oikos resources that I can chat to? And then maybe you're going to get a response, and then that's up to the individual to respond to that. The next thing to do is to write an email to us at help@oikosfamily.coza. And then what we do is you can tell us where you are, what region you're in, what your request is that you'd like to speak to somebody else in your area or even go visit them. Then what we can do is we can get hold of somebody that we might know in that area. Let's say, for example, you're writing from Mpumalanga in Nelspruit, and that's where Yunanza lives. And we know Yunanza's in Nelspruit, and we know that she probably wouldn't mind talking to people. So then we would get hold of her and say, Yunanza, here's a mom that's got hold of us, and she would love to be able to talk to a family that has walked the Oikos journey, and would you be available to her? And then Yunanza's going to say yes or no, and then we will give Yunanza this person's details because this person has asked to speak to somebody else. You see, we do it that way around. And then Yunanza would get hold of that mom and then take it from there. So that's how we can help you with this question, that how you can talk to other Oikos families. That's the way. Okay, and then question number 4. Right, I have taken my children out of school to home educate. No, sorry. I've taken my child out of school to home educate him, but I'm shocked that he is 15 and he's not able to do the work that is age appropriate for him from the Oikos curriculum. Okay, I'm going to stop there because there's another part to this question and say, well, you're not alone, because this happens. People take their children out of school and then they go to do their assessment in Oikos and go, oh my goodness, look at, I thought that he had come out of grade, whatever it was, and now he can't even manage the assessment for that level, that grade level or that age level. In fact, it might be 2 or 3 levels before that. And the parent is quite alarmed that the child hasn't got the skills to the level that she or the parent, mother or father, thought that the child had. And they get a bit concerned that now it looks like their child's really behind. But what I'd like to encourage you with that is that it's not necessarily behind, because if you can think of it differently, because the next part of this question is about the concern of this parent that the child is now behind the rest of his peers and so on. But if you can think about not matching your children with their peer group and think rather about their skill and their ability, because your own children in your own household, one is going to have quick and instant skills in certain things, and another one's going to take longer to learn that same skill. It's just, that's how it is. We're individuals, and in some instances we learn very fast and grasp things very quickly, and other times it takes longer. And so what is important in Oikos is that you slot in your children at the level where their skill or their mastery or their understanding is, not where it isn't. And so if you've taken a child out of school and they now appear to be much further back than what you thought they were, well, I think that's not a bad thing, because now you know where they're really at. And so now it might be that they do 2 levels in 1 year. And then parents go, oh, but now what about the budget? And now I've got about 2 sets of maths books instead of 1, and so on and so forth. But the thing is you're giving your child the education that they can manage and how they're going to be equipped and prepared to move on to the next level, rather than just putting them at the level that they're supposed to be at according to their age, and then hoping they're going to just manage there. Fortunately, in Oikos, we've got the resources are not graded as in grade 1, 2, 3. They're color-coded, like the maths is prima, alpha, beta, gamma, rather than it being grade 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason for that is so that you're slotting a child in at their level of ability. Whether it look like it's behind everybody else or not, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is the ability of your child at the time that you do the assessment. I mean, I spoke about this at a previous live streaming where I said that as an adult woman, if I wanted to start learning a foreign language, Spanish, or if I wanted to start learning not even a foreign language, it could be a skill I don't know, like programming or computer coding or something that I know not the first thing about, and I wanted to start learning that, I would have to start at the very beginning. But because I maybe be determined, and maybe I've got maturity on my side, and maybe I've got huge motivation to get this done, I'm not going to take 5 years to do it like I might need to have taken had I been a child. I might learn it in a year or 2. Just because of being able to have maturity and discipline and motivation and those things established and in place. So I would suggest that those characteristics that I've just spoken about, having, endurance and determination, and I even forget what the other one was that I just said a minute ago, but basically that is what's important to be teaching your children when you've got the opportunity to have them at home, is to be equipping them in their characters to be able to do what they need to do in their adult life and pick up anything, no matter whether it's something they're already skilled in and now they're advancing in, or whether it's something they're starting right from the very beginning. So coming all the way back to the question, and that is saying you're concerned that your child is behind and he's going to be behind his peers, and how's he going to catch up? Well, the point is children do catch up, because if they have the motivation, your child is already 15. So if he's got some motivation, some goal that he's wanting to be prepared and ready for, you can't just take him from the level that he's coming out of school at and try and push him on from there when he actually doesn't have the understanding, the mastery from beforehand, because it's just not going to work. I mean, we know that. So So what you'd rather do is start at the point where he is comfortable and ready, and then you will find he's going to move quickly through that. It's not going to take years and years and years. And let me say, even if it does, even if he's 18 and you're not at the level where the other 18-year-olds are, like getting their matric, and he's actually still busy with the second to last book in the level, in the course or something, and he's not quite there yet. Well, then he's not there yet. Then he needs that extra year to be able to complete. And however, there might be pressure, but everybody else is doing this now at that time, whatever it is. They're all going on a gap year, or they're all going to university, or everybody's going their different directions. And I'd like to caution parents to think that it's important that their children are following after what everybody else is doing and trying to match, keep in line and keep in at the level of that, because each person is an individual, and we as parents have the opportunity to train our children to be ready when they are ready, to equip them, encourage them, help them, and their time of ready isn't just the same as everybody else's time of ready. If your nuns are still there, she'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because, she's got 2 sons, and she knows, just like every one of us, that our children are completely different. So she had one son that learnt a certain way and another one that learnt differently, and one might have got things really fast in one area and takes longer in other, and vice versa. So, Yunanza, if you are still there with me and you have something to say about it, then please do add your comments here, and then I will read them for everybody. Now, Yunanza has said that people can inbox her anytime. If they want to talk to, if you want to talk to a mom that has been through this journey. I don't know if they know how to inbox you, because I don't think they'll have your email address. So I don't know if you feel bold enough and to do that and give us your email address so that we can then tell people, Yunanza, because after this live streaming, people won't see these comments on the side that we can see that I'm seeing here at the moment. So maybe if you can give us your email address that you would, if you don't mind them using your email address and emailing you, then Jamie will put it along the bottom here of this live stream, and then it'll be there. People can get it. And then your next comment is, I'm so glad that you're there joining me today, Yunanza. Yunanza is let's call her a veteran. Don't mean to make her sound old like that, but her children are adults now. But she says, I agree, Sonja. Wow, that is the freedom I found in Oikos living. I had my child is behind mindset when we started. After learning disabilities, we build not reading this very nicely, we build the building blocks from the start, and the results were amazing. So that's what Yunanza's got to say about that topic of going slowly, taking it easy, not trying to rush it. That's my summary on that, what you've said there, Yunanza. Okay, now the next question is, I was just reading the next question. Are there any questions here? I don't think so. But the next question was about entry to university. And you know how I'm going to answer that one? I'm going to let you know that we have done a course on, and it's on the website. It's on the Oikos website, and it's called Certification. To find it, you would go onto the Oikos website, and you would go to videos, courses, and then you will see certificates. I think it's called certificates or certification, but it's under courses on the videos. We do have all those hard-working chaps behind the scenes improving what is called an SEO. You see, I know something about this stuff, but I only learned it from the next generation. And SEO is search engine optimization. That's what SEO is. And so you can hopefully be able to find things much quicker on our website, because we're going to be fixing the search. When I say fixing, improving the search field. So on the search bar, you would put in certification or matric or university, whichever word comes to your mind that you want the answer on. And then hopefully whatever we've got on our website that will answer those, what's in your mind. We hope that there will be an answer for you under the Q&A or under a course we've done or something like that. Okay. So that's the answer for university. It is actually for you to go and watch the course. Because we did that course because we visited this in so many different ways over the years and tried to help people with this question in many different ways that we have attempted to support that. And eventually we did this course because then it's more thorough and comprehensive rather than little answers all the way along, which aren't as thorough as they can be if we did a course. So I hope you're going to find the course helpful. All right. I'm going to see if there's other questions here. Okay, there isn't. I've covered the questions that came in, and so I'm glad that's done because now I wanted to share something else with you. I wanted to show you this little. It's called Scripture Stack. Actually, our daughter developed it, made this for us. And the reason why it's in this little packet and it doesn't look like a box, I wonder if I can do that and show the lens even better, the camera. Okay, this is a stack of cards, playing cards, like just regular playing cards. And they're divided into 4 categories: love, trust, peace, and joy. And they come in this packet. We make this here at Oikos. And you can, when you get it, you can cut around the outside edge and turn this, what you see here, into a little box, which becomes just like a playing card box. The children can make a little box. And then put all the cards which are inside this packet. I haven't got an open packet. Let me open this packet. Let me do that. Jamie, can I use your knife, please? You don't have your knife. Oh, you've always got your knife on you. He normally carries a pen knife in his pocket. Yeah, I'll just rip it open. There we go. Okay. And look, you get that for the children to make up this little card. This little box. And there's a spare one. That's just in case it didn't go so well with the first attempt. And then there's a little pack of cards. See? And I suppose I should hold them this way. Ta-da! Got to try and do things backwards here. And on the back of the cards is the little Oikos logo. See? Thank you, Missy, for doing this. And on the cards are all different scriptures, like this one, from James 1, verses 2 and 3. Consider it pure joy. Isn't it interesting that this is the top card, and I shared on this last live streaming? To consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Do you know, I shared about this at last live streaming, and after I shared about it, I went and actually looked up the word consider in the dictionary, and it says think upon and ponder on and reflect on. And so I was thinking, here was God telling us that we must think upon joy and reflect upon it. And when we're doing that, thinking upon joy, when we're in the middle of a trial, it will produce perseverance. It's fantastic. So now we can actually persevere through that trial because we've got joy. It's wonderful. Anyway, you will see on these cards, I'll just take this first lot that have got in the bottom corner, they are all the joy cards. And the next lot will be the peace cards. That's the green ones. See? Peace cards. And let me guess, the red ones will be love cards. See if I'm right. Yep, they are the love cards. And then the blue ones, if I put it like that, show everybody closer. And then the blue ones are trust. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of what you can do with these cards, but I have used them for things quite differently to what maybe you would. But you know what I did? I put them in my car, this whole set, and in the door of the car. And so when I see somebody that maybe needs some support or encouragement, anybody that I might come across, I then just take one of these cards out and then I give it to the person. This one says, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. So I would just then take out one of these cards and give it to that person, or 2 or 3 cards, or, just giving people scripture as I come across them, in hopes that that is going to support and help their day or their life. But there's lots and lots and lots of different games you can play on with these cards. And what is suggested here, cut on the solids and score. I'm just trying to see, I think it might be on the website where Missy suggested that you go onto Google and you find all the different kinds of games you can play with these cards, because you can play matching, just color matching for your little ones, that memory game where you lay them all down and you shuffle them up, and then you turn one over, and then another child turns another one over, and now you've got to try and remember the blue and the green and where they are. And then you can play the standard rummy like everybody knows. So there's just, as I say, I could spend a lot of time here today actually showing you the different kinds of games, but I think it's more exciting and fun for the children to find out different things they can do with the scripture stack. So it's called Scripture Stack. I wanted to share it with you because we've made it especially for this variety of reasons that I've mentioned briefly today. And you can go onto the Oikos website and find out more about them if you would like to. And I think we've made them at cost. We've made them as inexpensive as we possibly can. I think there's something like 40 Rand or 30 Rand, or something between, let's say, 40 and 50, somewhere around there. But there's hours and hours and hours of fun that can come from them. So I'm hoping you're going to get lots and lots of joy and blessing from this little scripture stack. So that's that. And in fact, one of the reasons why I wanted to share with you this today is because I really would like at these live stream times to be able to just show you some of our games, because we have so much fun with them. Even the people at Oikos, when they play games once a week, those that are serving there and supporting to help with the making of books and distributing of them and all of that. The games are quite an important part of our week and of our lives because of all the good that comes from doing this, playing games. And I suppose I also like to take this opportunity to tell you about this, because I have just picked up more and more and more how parents are focusing so much more on the sort of formal learning. Even home educators that are home educating and have so much more opportunity, I think, to be able to have time to do this kind of thing, because parents that have their children in school are really needing to run around. I know I've just heard recently of children at school, and there's just no time for even family time because there's so much pressure on the children. Okay. Thank you. Another question came in. So I just want to encourage home educating moms, because you are at home and you do have your children at home. I want to encourage you to remember to take time to do this kind of thing, to play games with your children, and realize that you can actually have time to do that rather than fill your day with so much stuff, so much other stuff. All right, a question came in. I often get asked this question. How do I start the Oikos living lifestyle of home education with small children? I only started later with my boys. Yunanza's sharing here. Thank you, Yunanza. So do not have specific guidelines. If you can do a live chat with what Oikos materials are applicable. I get this question a lot. Okay. Thank you. I will put that down for next live stream, Yunanza. I'll put down that question about how to start with really, really little ones. But you know what the answer is immediately, hey? It's play games, get a Konos manual, and the mom can get into the learning lifestyle of having a focus on a specific character trait. So she gets a Konos manual, and she starts with patience, whatever it, obedience or attentiveness, whatever little ones need to have to be trained in. And then the mom uses the Konos manual as her parent training tool, and then it helps her to guide her and keep her focused with her days. But that is the immediate quick answer. But you are quite right. It is a question that parents come up with, and as you've said, Yunanza, you started when your children were older. And so you're not quite sure what resources you would tell them to get. So I'm going to write that down for our next live streaming session, and we'll spend some time on that. I'm doing it right now so that we don't miss that one next time. Okay, so I think I've shown you Scripture Stack. I've done everything that I would have loved to have done today with all of you and with this particular live streaming. Thank you for joining me. Yunanza, thank you for your input and your support and for being there. And I look forward, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'm going to look forward to the next live streaming, which won't be next Friday, but we aim for it to be the following Friday. We're just going to miss a week. So in the meantime, I hope you get to watch some of the other videos and maybe do some of the courses, and maybe following on from that suggestion that Junanza made for moms that are wanting to know where to get going, is they could maybe just watch the started videos, which aren't going to specifically tell them this is what you use for your really little children, the little toddlers and newborns and children before they start at the age before needing to start learning to read and things like that. I understand that that's what the main part of that question is, so I will attend to that next time. For now, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to next live streaming. Bye for now.